Gotta take control of what life has offered me. And when I put my mind and soul in perfect harmony, it feels like
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's episode of the CMM Podcast. Today's date is Friday, March 1st, 2019. And before we get into today's episode, we kind of need to make a few announcements to our fans here. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to our Twitter and Instagram, you've kind of noticed that we've gone through a name change. A name change that we've been thinking for a very long time, and after an hour and a half meeting or so on Sunday, I'm thinking really hard of that, we came up with absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. So after a couple of days, we kind of rattled around, and we decided to come up with the name Cavemen Media. And the reason for that is that we want to bring the brand to life and give back to our viewers. Now, at the same time, when we decided to end the Garage Cast, we had a few reasons why we didn't think that name would click, but one of the reasons why, as Connor pointed out here, we never really recorded in the garage.
We never recorded once in the garage.
Not once. So it's kind of pointless to name it the Garage Cast when we were kind of like lying.
But hey, Garage Cast, it had a good run.
It
2
did.
episodes, solid.
Hey, that first episode, where it was just me and Jordan talking, had like 54 views, man. It's wild. 54 views, man.
I'm pretty sure we at least hit 70 when I jumped on board. But
Oh,
just
you
saying.
taking credit?
That's about
A little bit.
half Browns fans.
Damn straight.
Yeah. I will say this, though. You guys are loyal to each other.
Absolutely. I do want to give a quick shout out to some Browns fans.
Please don't.
I needed some help on Twitter. I needed some followers. I was new to the game. I tweeted out to Browns fans to help me out, and 2 people in particular came through. I want to give a quick shout out to @SlimDog on Twitter and @RyRy in Toledo for helping me out. I got over 170 followers within like 48 hours on top of what I had. It was great.
Very good. If they weren't Browns fans, I'd probably be ecstatic about it.
Well, it is what it is, man. That's what we do. Browns fans stick together.
So if you haven't noticed by now, we upgraded our equipment. We have some new microphones, a new recorder, some lights. We decided to go with the Audio-Technica ATR 2100s microphones and a Zoom H6. So our sound quality is top tier now. Should be, at least, trial and error. If it doesn't sound good, we'll get it good next week.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to spend money to make money.
Exactly. That's the whole
true.
goal here.
Yeah.
So a few things to take care of before we jump into it. Cody?
Yeah, before we really get into the show, we got to talk about what our guy Trey's doing. He's doing something that a lot of people wish they could do. His brand, Vulgar, has blown up. Vulgar is a company that started right here in our hometown, West Carrollton, Ohio.
Let's go, Dub C.
They've got all your writing threads, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and more, and they're all pretty badass. Check out Vulgar on Twitter, Instagram, and their website, vulgarusa.com. That's Vulgar, VULGAR, USA on Instagram, and vulgarusa.com. Be on the lookout for a lot of new stuff dropping from Vulgar March 6th. Can't wait to see it.
Can't wait.
Can't wait for Vulgar on March 6th, guys. Now going into this week's news, did you guys hear that Johnny Manziel just got cut?
He got dropped.
Johnny Manziel still plays football?
Yeah, not in our country, but
He
up
plays
in Canada.
Canada. Hey?
Canada. Yeah, today they dropped him. Breaking news like just a couple hours ago, actually. He got dropped. He played in 8 games in the Canadian League. He had 1,290 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 picks. I mean, I don't know how you want to compare that to his NFL stats where he played 15 games and threw for 1,600 yards, but I don't know what's next for Johnny Manziel. I don't know.
There's nothing.
Probably not football.
My guess is prison.
At this rate.
He's not that far off.
There's a couple other leagues he could jump into that he hasn't failed in yet. There's the AAF and the XFL coming up in 2020.
I don't think he can join the XFL because you can't have a criminal history, and I think he does have a criminal history.
I think they'd make an exception if that's true. I want to know if that's true. But at the same time, I think he could. I think he's got a better chance to play in the XFL than he does the AAF. I think honestly the quality of football in the AAF is a little above what Johnny Manziel can handle right now. I do.
I don't know, man. The AAF, the quarterbacks are lacking a little bit, but I think he could come into a team and do something.
I mean, he'd get some views. He'd put some butts in seats. I don't think the AAF would be against it at all.
Oh hell no!
Step right up to see the magnificent Manziel for.
Hey, we'll take him. We'll take him on Memphis.
Yeah, I think the old Memphis Express is willing to do any kind of changes as they're sitting at 0-3.
0-3.
But if I'm Vinnie Mac and Manziel's free and I'm about to start my league, I sign him.
Oh,
I
I'd
don't
bring
care
him in
about
100%.
the rule. You just sign him.
Teach him a couple wrestling moves.
If I had to guess, he goes XFL come 2020.
I don't know how, but I'd love to see it either way. Next up in the news, we got the Ohio State rankings, and not even the top 10.
Yeah, so the ESPN PFI football rankings came out, I think it was about last week came out. And if you look at what they posted on Instagram, you don't see Ohio State because they only posted the top 10. Ohio State is not in the top 10 going into...
That is fake news.
Bullshit.
Fake news.
How do you go from being talked about being in the playoffs last season and not being in the top 10?
Because there's no respect for Ryan Day yet. That's probably why.
It's the urban era has ended. Dwayne Haskins going to the league. But I put all trust in Ryan Day. I put all trust in Justin Fields. I think we're going to be just fine. They've got us ranked at 13th. They've got Penn State, A&M, and Oregon in front of us.
No.
Your top three is Clemson, Bama, Georgia. I have no issue with that. But at the same time, you're going to put Michigan at number 5.
I had an issue with Georgia after losing an embarrassing Sugar Bowl game to Texas. How do they even get in the top 5?
Does anybody recall what we did to Michigan in that game? Me and Jordan got to witness it live.
Yeah.
Put up over 60 points.
We crushed them. It wasn't even a game, dude. It wasn't even fun.
But hey, they're ranked number 5. We're 13th.
Remember us walking there, though, and we're like, I don't know about today. And then we're like, we get there, like, why were we worried?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Well, 5 minutes into the first quarter.
Right on.
It was great. Great time.
Great time. Buckeyes will get into it.
But yeah, I don't worry. I don't look too into that 13th ranking. I'm not worried about that at all. I think we're definitely a playoff contender, if not a national championship contender, going into the 2019
Just because
season.
we switch coaches doesn't mean we're afraid of Michigan. Oh,
No.
Sorry, I said that word. Team up north.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean it. Moving on in today's news, did you guys hear about that Momo challenge?
I did hear a little bit about it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
The wife was filling me in last night about it. Actually, we've got 2 boys. We got a newborn, and then my son Carter. He's 20 months now. He's definitely involved on the YouTube. He is obsessed with videos. So as a fellow parent, I do want to encourage everybody to be involved with what your kids are doing on their phones, tablets, whether it's YouTube or anything else. Definitely be involved with what they're looking at. I don't want to spend a bunch of time talking about this Momo Moo guy.
Me either.
Scumbags like that don't deserve a bunch of attention. So
They don't.
I have a quick question for you. At what age do parents quit saying their kid's age in months?
I think 2.
2?
2.
So you say 2 and then
Yeah, I think once we get to 2, I got a 2-year-old.
2?
Be like
Right now, one. If you say 1, there's a big difference in a 12-month-old and a 20-month-old. There's a big difference in what those two.
I always
age
say
ranges
1
know.
when they ask me how old my nephew is. Man, I like 1
It's
and a half.
different when it's not your kid, but
Yeah.
I'd probably say the cutoff is 2. I mean, you got some parents, you ask them how old their kid is. Oh, he's 57 months now.
48 months.
48 months.
Like,
That's 4.
Yeah.
So I'd say the they should make a law. It's 2. After
Make a
2,
law?
after age 2, you're 2 years old. That's
cut
it.
off.
There's
It
no.
just reminded me of this
no more detail.
tweet I saw that said, no one over the age of like 29 should be allowed on Twitter.
With the age of 29.
29. I was like, man, there's a lot of people that are going to miss out on Twitter. But yeah, that Momo challenge, I don't want to talk more about it except it's creepy, unusual.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, you're wasting everyone's time. Especially young kids, man. They just try to watch their shows.
See, the way I see it is like they're just going to click off of that video. If it's not Puppy Pals or, some fire trucks or something, they're not going to worry too much about it.
But if that Momo challenge keeps coming up, you want to know if the kids should start watching?
What's that?
The AAF League, man.
Hell yeah, they should.
I mean, never too young to learn, man. Never too young.
Yeah.
And we are officially moving on to week 3 past, right?
Yeah, like we said last week, football still on your TV.
Oh, yeah. Check it out every weekend.
We mentioned it briefly already, but Memphis Express, that is my team and I believe Jordan's team.
Hell yeah. Let's
They
go.
are repping. We are 0-3.
Never mind.
And then you got the Apollos in Birmingham at 3-0.
Yep, that's my team right there, baby. Iron 3-0. Rolling.
Rolling on. Man, how is Trent Richardson not balling in this league for being a number 1 pick?
Oh, he's balling. He's just not in the top 5 at all. I don't even think he's in the top 10 for rushing yards.
In rushing yards,
There's 8 teams. Like,
I know.
like, that's terrible.
He's getting in the end zone. He's got 6 touchdowns. He leads the league in touchdowns by far, no doubt about it. But he's not breaking off long tackles.
He's that guy you just put in when they're on the 1.
He's a third down back for sure.
He's who the Seahawks needed in that Super Bowl.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
But another guy that is balling out in the AAF is my dude Terrell Watson. He plays for the San Diego Fleet.
Woo.
He's got 30 carries, 132 yards, averaging 4.4 yards a carry. He's killing it.
Let's
And,
go.
I do want to give a quick future mention. We might get Terrell Watson on the show for an interview, so be looking out for that. That'd be huge.
Huge one. Love to have you on. That has been this week on AAF, man. And,
No. Hold on. I want to talk about one other thing.
Oh, come on.
Did you guys see what the TV analyst, what's his name? Rob Woodson. Did you see what he said on the air?
Did not.
I don't know if they were live on TV, but it was captured. It's out there. It's on the internet. And they're talking, He had Marvin Lewis there and a few other people I don't know. And he said, and I quote, "Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. No one's listening." Talking about the AAF.
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's his employer.
Yeah.
That's his
Exactly.
job.
He claims that he just meant it in the way that the mindset for an analyst, that should be your mindset, to not worry about who's watching or listening and just kind of, be yourself and talk. But
As your job as an analyst, as a broadcaster, you should never say anything like that.
exactly.
Whether you mean it for actual viewers or for the league of AAF, either way, I don't get why you say that.
unless you're Chris Collinsworth, then I really hope you say it and get canned from NBC, dude.
Get canned.
Hate that guy, dude. Now here's a guy. Oh my goodness.
Let's not get Jordan fired up on it.
Yeah, let's not, please. We probably need to wrap the sports talk up today.
We'll move on to our next segment. It's a little segment we want to share with you guys. We're going to post on the Twitter and hope you guys comment back with your moments. But we want to talk about our favorite sport moment that we shared with our parents. Jordan, you want to go first?
Oh, man. I'm going to need another minute. Can you go?
Oh, this is an easy one for me.
Yeah, I need a minute.
Back in 6th grade when I was a baller, it's actually where I first met Jordan, and we played in a rec basketball league. We were the Nuggets.
Let's go.
And we ended up winning the championship that year. And my dad, as well as Cody, was the coach, led us to victory.
We won it all.
We won it all, man.
I think we only lost like one game that whole season, and it was because
I'm
half
pretty
the
sure.
list was out.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't there.
I'm pretty sure Jordan wasn't there either.
I
was
think I
there.
was.
You were?
I was
Yeah.
a sophomore in high school, coaching with Dad.
Still had the Bieber cut.
Yep. Had the long hair back in the day. But yeah, that was my first coaching gig that I ever got. Started me off.
Hell of a first year.
We won it all. It was a great season.
I'll never forget walking into that gym and seeing your dad for the first time, and I just looked at him and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to mess around with this guy. This guy is scary.
I'll never forget the game. I'm sitting on the bench. Dad's up coaching. And next thing you know, bad call. I can't remember what it was. Ref did something. Dad was pissed. And he just flops over on the ground. Just lays on the gym floor. I'm like, Dad, get up.
Didn't he get ejected for that one?
He got plenty of technicals.
Oh, I want to know. I want to get a stat count on how many technicals he had that season.
There were plenty.
Hey.
Over under was probably 5.5.
Here's the thing, though. Didn't matter. Still won it all.
Man, at the beginning of that, me and Jordan absolutely hated each other.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't stand each other. We would fight at practice.
Your dad was the referee. Get off! Freaking the best part was I had my growth spurt before everyone else. I was taller than all the kids.
Jordan was a grown man. He was
yeah.
shaving back in 6th grade.
Flexing on him.
I'm going to take it back a little bit farther than that, than your 6th grade year. I'm going to take this back to 2002. I was 8 years old. The last time the Browns were in the playoffs. Kelly Holcomb was quarterback. Browns were up 24-14 going into the fourth quarter. 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Wild card
Let me
game.
guess, they blew it.
They blew it.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
They were
Browns blew
outscored.
Shocker.
Outscored in the fourth quarter, 22-9 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ended up losing the game, 36-33. And I'll never forget that last drive. Kelly Holcomb's attempting to leave the Browns down for a game-tying field goal. He completes a pass over the middle. The receiver, I don't know who it was at the time, dove for the sideline to get out of bounds, and it ended up being no time left. 8 years old. Dad was working third shift at the time. It was the 4 o'clock game, and I remember Dad had to leave as soon as the game was over. And I just remember that feeling, losing the game. And I'm like, Dad, no, it's not over. You got out of bounds. And Dad's like, no, bud.
It's over.
Game over. There's no time on the clock. He gave me a hug, gave me a kiss, went to work. And ever since that day, diehard Browns fan. That's what started it off for me. It's Browns fan since then.
That's your moment?
That's my moment with Dad. Started me off into sports, all sports.
I'll never forget the heartbreak and just like how sad Dad looked the day I came home from school, and I was like, you know what, Dad? I think I want to be a Bengals fan.
I remember that as well.
Your dad was probably crying.
For any of you out there that believe Connor's a Bengals fan, I have
Believe?
proof. I have proof.
No.
Pictures that Connor was once a Browns fan.
I was also abused as a child. No, but
So we need to call child services.
The sole reason I even became a Bengals fan, glad I did.
Right.
But I remember I was in second grade, and I had a teacher. And she was a diehard Bengals fan, and she was smoking hot.
Miss Logan,
Miss Logan, smoking hot. Second grade me. I'm like, you know what? I want to be a Bengals fan. Looks like a great time. Looks like a great time.
We make the playoffs every now and then. It's okay. Lose them, but
that's when we put Connor up for adoption.
But man, going back to second grade as well, when I became a Bengals fan, like I remember going to school second grade, and we had like a spirit week, and it was like Jersey Day was the Friday, and this was just when I was getting into football, and my mom was taking me up with all of her friends, and there's one particular friend, her name was Mel, and she kept coming up to me and she was talking to me about being a Dallas Cowboys fan, like just die hard, and I was like, all right, Cowboys it is. So for Jersey Day, I talked my mom into going to the mall and buying me a jersey. Well, after 2.5 hours later, they really didn't have a Dallas Cowboys jersey for a second grade kid. So out of frustration, my mom just picks up a Bengals jersey. Carson Palmer, of all people, throws it at me and goes, here, wear it to him.
It's also who Cody's baby's named after is Carson Palmer.
That is
That
true.
is completely 100% suit. 100% false.
I thought I heard it was like...
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
False.
Yes.
Very, very false.
Oh, yeah. Ever
Anyway.
since that day, the next day I put it on, I went to school, and everybody was booing on me. I'm like, isn't this team, like, just right down the road? I was like, do you know what? Everybody hates them, so I'll just be a Bengals fan. And to this day, I'm glad I made the choice. Well, besides the playoffs, but other than that, I love it.
Andy Dalton and Marvin Lewis.
I love Andy Dalton,
There's
Marvin Lewis.
plenty of reasons
is okay.
not to like the Bengals, but
What's
We
good
won't
reason to
get
like
into
the
all that.
Browns? 0-16.
don't you worry. Don't you worry.
You worry about it.
I think it's time for a little buy or sell. You guys ready for that?
Ooh, let's
Let's
get
get into it.
Question number one. Buy or sell? Le'Veon Bell will be an Indianapolis Colt in 2019.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most logical sense. The Colts have the cap space. They have the best offensive line in the league. And if you've been paying attention all, like, since July, Le'Veon Bell has been creeping on the Indianapolis Colts Instagram page, sending, like, random emojis.
He's been flirting, if you will.
He's been flirting. He wants to be an Indy. Could you imagine that team? Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton, Evic Ebron. I think I said his name right. Don't kill me on Twitter if I say it wrong. And then Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. Who's New England at this point? That's a bold choice. Indy should make the move, and Le'Veon should go ahead and just sign that contract, make it a done deal.
Former Colts receiver Reggie Wayne said, I'll pick him up from the airport.
Did he really?
Yeah, he
That's
did.
hilarious.
Connor, you buying that?
Yeah, I'm not buying it 100%, but I'll throw in some money on it.
Who's your number two team?
Yeah. You got none?
No idea.
No.
So you're buying in, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
think
see
it's-
him going to Miami because
it's-
Miami has the room, but Miami has no talent there.
In my opinion, it's down to the Colts and it's down to the Jets.
I definitely want
Jets
to
should
see
not.
him in Indianapolis. I think that'd be awesome.
I'd go to a game if he's in India, but I'd have to. To see Le'Veon Bell play in another jersey besides the Pittsburgh Steelers, I can finally appreciate his how good he is.
Next question. Joey Votto's been in the news here recently. He had a sit-down interview a couple days ago. He said the Cincinnati Reds have a legit shot to win the division. What do you think about that, Connor?
I'm all in on that one. Of
Buying
course,
that?
I'm all in on that one. At least the division. I think more.
More?
100%.
I'll take the division for sure.
I think the Reds have a potential to be a sneaky team coming in late in the year. But as for the beginning, I see them struggling. I don't see them winning the division. I mean, you got to think of all the teams they have in their division. You got the Cardinals, Pirates, the Cubs, Milwaukee. Milwaukee just came off a really good year for young talent.
Brewers
but-
absolutely my number one concern in the division.
Yeah, the Brewers
But
are loaded in our
We have
division.
Puig.
We've
We
got
have
star
Puig.
power. If you look at the Cincinnati Reds on paper, it's a damn good baseball team.
The only thing that concerns me, and every Reds fan will agree with me on this, is the pitching. Yeah, they made adjustments, but it's not like the adjustments you made by going to get Puig and Kemp. This is just okay, let's get some late veterans in here and see what they do. I mean, I could see the Reds getting into the playoffs. As for the division, I'm not really sold on it.
I'll take a wild card. I just want some competitive baseball. I mean, I don't want to be a month into the baseball season and we're 3-21 or whatever it was that we started last year.
Hey, man, those were made for some cheap tickets, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheap tickets. So
I think it was
I'll be there all day
I
long,
think
but
they paid
I want to watch
$2
them
for
win
a
a
lower
baseball.
bowl.
$2.
$2. Let's go.
Two whopping.
Next
And yes, it was a
question.
game.
We talk about LeBron. We talk about the Lakers. Lakers lost to the Grizzlies in their last game, falling to 29-31.
Whew.
By far, LeBron's worst season at this point in the season since his rookie year with the Cavs.
Should have stayed in Cleveland.
Probably should.
He's probably rethinking a little bit. But do you think LeBron and Lakers will be in the playoffs this year?
I think there will be just because they have LeBron. He's been in the championship, the last 8 years or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, it's LeBron and everybody else it feels like in LA right now. Or LeBron and Magic working together and just seeing who we're going to trade, who are we picking up.
And here's the thing. I feel like LeBron just really doesn't care about this season. He's surrounded by young talent that has no experience. And he's probably sitting there thinking, if I just gave him 1 year and focused on Space Jam 2 and everything else I got going on, my team could get some good draft picks, maybe to get AD in
You
the
never know,
long run.
man.
I think LeBron's like, this ain't my year. Let's tone it back a bit, but let's keep decent. And they're not going to go far in the playoffs. Like, the Warriors are stacked. James Harden is cooking down in Houston, and he got plenty of other teams in the West that can definitely take LA in a series playoff victory.
As it sits right now, 29-31, 3 games out of the 8 spot. They currently sit at the 10 spot. So 3 games out of just making the playoffs.
Who's ahead of them?
You've got Minnesota, you got the Kings, and the Spurs are the 3 teams in front of the Lakers just to get to the playoffs. So
It's doable, but Minnesota's there. So somebody's got to have to fall out of the top. There's
I
no way Minnesota does not make the playoffs.
I don't think they make it. I don't see them making the playoffs, and I think it's the first time in however many years that's been since LeBron made the playoffs. I think the streak is ending,
For
and they've got
Minnesota?
a lot of for the Lakers.
Ooh.
I think they've got a lot of work to do in the offseason if they want to contend for a championship.
There's a lot of work to be done, but in the future, I do see the Lakers bringing home a couple of championships with LeBron. Just not this year, folks, because Boogie and the Warriors are going to get it. Let's go, guys.
You guys think that in the future LeBron will be playing in the NBA with his son?
I think it's definitely a possibility. I think it's a goal for him. I think his son's 15, 16 right now, so it's still a couple more years.
I think he's a senior.
I think it's actually set up right. No, I don't think he is. I think it's set up right now for him in his last year of the Lakers contract and going into after his 4-year deal, and that's when his son will be eligible. So
Yeah.
I think it's set up for a return to Cleveland for LeBron.
With his
Return
kid.
to Cleveland for 1 more year. I don't think his son will play for the Cavs. That'd have to be a lot of magic to happen for him
I
to
think
land in Cleveland. But I think they play in the league together.
I think if he makes the league, him and LeBron will play together. LeBron's been on how many teams? 3 or 4?
3 right now.
I think
3.
LeBron perfectly made this contract up just to see where his son goes. And as soon as his son gets drafted in next couple of years, then he's going to be, I'm going to go there for my last year and play with my son, then I'm going to rise.
When you've done what LeBron's done, you can do that kind of stuff. He's broken all these records. He's won championships, whether it's 3 championships or it's 6 championships.
It's only 3.
He's got a lot of awards under his belt and accomplishments to where he can do that kind of stuff. He can go play in LA for a losing team if that's what he wants to do. He's accomplished a lot, and he's to that point in his career where he's going to do what's best for him and his family.
His kid said one time that he didn't want to be in his dad's shadow, and having the name LeBron James Jr. is not a good start. Not a good start.
Not a good start.
Like, you're Bronny, dude. Come on. Accept the name.
You are known as Bronny Jr., LeBron James Jr. Good luck with that.
Unless you're just going to ball out every day, you're always going to be known as Bronny Jr. And thank you for that.
He's awesome, dude. He is, man. We watched some highlight videos of him playing in
We did.
Playing whatever league he plays in, high school, whatever. Mm-hmm. He's sweet.
I just remember the one kid in the video that was just like mad, like every time he got beat by him. He was trying so hard to beat Bronny, and Bronny was just like.
And then LeBron is just like casually standing in the back.
LeBron's like, "Let's go, Bronny."
Last question I got for you guys. We're going to talk a little college hoops.
Let's go.
Zion, I'm sure you guys saw the video of him absolutely just blowing up his shoe.
Yeah. What's that shoe brand again?
That was Nike.
Ooh.
Good job there, Nike.
Adidas deal coming soon.
Yeah.
But you've seen their last 2 games. They lost actually last night. He's on the bench.
Zion?
He's on the bench.
Ooh.
Do you guys think he's going to play another game?
I think so. I'll buy that. I think that he's going to come back and play either at the start of the tournament or maybe a game or 2 into the tournament. And then I think they're going to go on and win the tournament.
You see, the smart decision for Zion is to go ahead, sit the bench, ride it out, go to the draft, get paid, and ball. But Zion, I can see it in his eyes. He's got this thing called pride. And he literally just screams with pride every time he plays. So look for him to come back. Look for Duke to contend. But I just really don't see Zion putting in that much effort from here on out.
I don't want him to be that guy. He just holds out for money.
Not the Nick Bosa?
Yeah.
But if I'm in their position, I'm holding out for the money.
Where's
the position? We're holding out.
Though. I think Zion plays. I think he comes back. I think he plays in the tournament, and I think Duke makes it to the Final Four. I don't know if they win it all, but I think they make it to the Final Four, and I think he definitely comes back and plays. If he doesn't, I think they're in deep trouble. But I agree with Jordan with the pride thing. I think he's got the pride. He likes being at Duke. He loves Coach K. I think he plays again for Duke, and they make a run in the tournament. But at the same time, he's got a little insurance policy. If he gets drafted after 15th, so if he's not a lottery pick, he gets $8 million.
No matter what?
$8 million.
If that happens, I will give you $8 million.
Zion's going number 1.
Heard or not, he's going number 1, but he's got that in his back pocket.
Isn't there like 3 Duke players that are projected to go top 4 or 5?
Top 4 or 5, you've got Zion, JT, and then you've got Cam Reddish. That's it. The star power at Duke right now is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous for that small gymnasium that they have.
Yeah.
Like, Zion's just crazy.
Yeah. I think they make a run with Zion once he comes back.
But if I am Zion, sit for the money, dude. Come on. Is it really worth it?
Get a new pair of sneakers.
Yeah, get a new pair of sneakers. We'll see you in October for NBA opening night. Come on, man.
Yeah, so we talked about it a little bit last week. My brother used to live out in Vegas. We want to talk about some stories, some good times you had out there.
Let's do it.
What's your number 1 memory out in Las Vegas, Nevada?
Lived the military life out in Vegas. We lived on base for a little bit, then we moved off base. Biggest memory. One time I remember I was working at the Big 5 Sporting Goods, West Coast. If you guys ever heard of Big 5. I worked a Chuck shift. I got off at about 4. No, I went in at 4. Got off around noon. And a buddy of mine sent me a text. He's like, "Hey man, Colin Coward, he's recording a show down on the strip at a bar."
Your favorite guy?
At the time, I was a big Colin Cowherd fan. As a Browns fan, and that's kind of changed here in the last couple of years. But at the time, I was a big Colin Cowherd fan. Had his book, read his book, listened to him every day. So got off work, rushed home, got my book, rushed down, met him, got my picture with him, which I posted on Twitter earlier this week. Got him to sign my book, and quick conversation with him. He seemed like a nice guy at the time, but now that he's a big old Browns hater and Baker Mayfield hater, my feelings have changed, unfortunately.
Did you ever get that edit I sent you with the Colin Cowherd picture you had?
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Baker Mayfield, the bottom going, LOL.
He replied to me, he said, haha.
Did find that funny.
I found it hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, Vegas, it's a different world. It's got the real world. I had to go to work every day. I had to pay the bills, all that good stuff. But
that sucks.
The fact that my house was within 5 minutes of 3 different casinos, it's crazy. I spent my fair share.
Did you win from this fair share?
I won some and lost a lot.
You win some, you lose some. You know how it is.
I mean,
as
my grandpa always says, those casinos are not built off you winning.
No, they're not. They're for taking.
At the same time, it's a hell of a time living in Vegas. The Strip, Fremont Street. For anyone that's been on Fremont Street, you know what I'm talking about. There are some crazy mother truckers out there. Crazy. If you want to go people watch, go to Fremont Street. Go anywhere in Vegas and you'll have a good time.
I'll definitely have to do that when I go this summer.
Yeah, Fremont's another world, man.
It's honestly, it's a great city. Whether you go there for vacation, whether you live there, either way, it's a great city to live in.
I can't wait to go check it out when I go. You got any suggestions that I should go check out while I'm there?
Well, my favorite casino down on the Strip's definitely the Flamingo. You're right in the middle of the Strip. You're right in the middle of all the action. You got the link right there, restaurants, bars, everything's right there. Right across the street from Caesar's Palace. Go there, check out the mall, all kinds of good stuff. But if you're hanging out with me, we won't be leaving the blackjack table.
I like that spirit, man. I can't wait to get out there. But Connor, you've already been out there a couple times.
Share a story of a time when he came out and stayed with his big bro.
Oh yeah, well,
the truth comes out now.
I was 16 at the time.
Were you really only 16?
I was 16.
Gee,
how do you feel now?
We come out, me and my buddy Chad. First time going to the West Coast. Well, actually, no. Excuse me. We helped move you out there.
Yeah.
Our stepmom, yeah. So we had that, and then later down the line, me and my buddy Chad came out, and we were there for I think a week during summer break. Yeah, it was cool. You guys were on base still. We were hanging out and all that. And then one night, we got back from the Strip or wherever, and you cracked open an ice cold Bud Light. Taylor got a ice cold Strawberryta, and me and Chad were like, you know what? Why don't we drink for the first time? So we didn't like beer back then, so we didn't drink any Bud Light.
That's dramatically changed.
Cody takes his beer and heads across the street. We don't see him for a good while. And me and Taylor and Chad are sitting there, and we're, drinking. And me and Chad are just sitting down. We're pounding these Strawberrytas. Disgusting. We're just pounding them. And after an hour or so, I'm like, man, we don't feel nothing at all. And Taylor's like, well, stand up, walk around a little bit. So, I get out of the chair and smack the ground. Just straight smack the ground.
I'm hanging out with the neighbors drinking a couple beers, and I come back, and Connor's just passed out laying on the floor.
I was literally on the ground with my arms up and my shirt over my head.
Just gone. And I'm like, how long was I gone? What did I miss here?
45 minutes.
45 minutes of just pounding these drinks and back there.
Next thing I know, the wife got my little brother absolutely hammered.
Absolutely hammered. I remember crawling to the bathroom, hanging out there. Cody opens the door, looks at me, goes, yeah, it happens. Shuts the door. And then somehow I make it upstairs. And I'll never forget this. Chad, the next morning, I am just like, done and out, man. I laid in bed till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I remember Chad just popping out of bed at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm going to go downstairs and get some breakfast.
Chad can throw him down.
I was like, all right, man.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
But yeah, that was great though, because when you guys came back, you guys came over to my house and you told me what you did, and we decided that it would have been a perfect time for me to get drunk for the first time. But he wasn't like feeling good then. He was like, "No, I can't do that again. I almost died at Cody's."
Yeah, I was still
I was
recovering.
like, man, okay, whatever. So me and Chad go out to my garage, and probably my mom doesn't even notice to this day. She had this big old Crown Royal bottle, and me and Chad just looked at it and we're like, we can steal a couple shots out of that. She won't notice. So we poured it in there real quick, and we did a couple of shots. And I looked at Chad, and I was like, I'm not drunk yet. He's like, you'll feel it.
Give it a minute.
So we go back inside, and the way that my house was shaped at the time, like if you walk from the kitchen into my dining room and you turn left, there's a perfectly like long kind of hallway there that leads directly into my living room, and it perfectly aligns with this couch I have, like where you can lay out. And I think Connor, of all people, was just standing in the middle. And for some reason in my head, I was like, this dude about to get the ground right now.
Spear this guy.
So I'm like, he's going down. So I get ready, and I take off charging, and I grab him, and I just hug him, and I just fall down laughing. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm drunk.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
You don't? Well,
I do not remember that one.
you weren't drunk.
Anyway, back to Vegas. This was the same weekend, whatever. We were out there for the 4th. And I remember we drove up and kind of went up on this mountain, and it overlooks like all of Las Vegas. You know, there was like some suburbs. You could see the strip and everything.
It's just a flat valley.
Yeah, completely flat. And we were watching fireworks. We weren't watching, like, you know, you go and watch one specific, like, set of fireworks.
Yeah, you go to the West Carrollton show, the
Right.
Dayton show, Centerville.
So we're up there, and we see literally every single firework that's going off.
Vegas is a
in Las
different
Vegas.
city. If you go up
It
to the
was
mountains on the outskirts, you can see the whole city from north, the strip, the south,
No way.
everywhere, and everybody's letting off fireworks.
It was awesome.
On their street, at their house, in their backyard, at the park. It's nuts. It's a sight to see for sure.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go back out there for a 4th. And
Yeah, I'm marking that on my list right now.
All the hotels are blowing up fireworks off the roof. It's crazy.
I might have to find a hotel soon. Is that a One Casino hotel?
Flamingo, yeah.
Flamingo.
Definitely.
Every casino's a hotel.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah,
dumb
very
question.
you
I'm
can't,
sorry.
You can't go to the gas station without seeing a slot machine. Gas stations
Yeah.
have slot machines in them.
Could you imagine hitting big just like while you're pumping gas and you just hit like 25 grand into the gas?
I mean, as soon as you land in the airport, slot machines.
Yeah.
I don't think
Literally,
we're ever
as
leaving
soon
the
as you-
airport, dude.
As soon as you walk out, it's like a glass like container almost. And
Yeah.
You walk in, and there's like 4 or 5 slot machines.
Yep.
Wow. There's never any place where you just cannot throw away your money there, huh?
No, you throw away your money anywhere and everywhere you go in Vegas.
It's a good time, though.
Great time.
I can't wait to be there.
What else we got?
Right now, I got nothing.
So I decided to go back to the iPhone after
Ooh.
Hey!
after
Game-changing.
5 months of being Team
5
Android.
What
I
made this
decided to
change
switch
happen?
back. You know, there's really only one reason, and that's iMessage.
Really?
I could not stand how the texting works on Android, and like the group chats, it was all just kind of
Yeah, honestly,
crap.
I almost just want to like just tweet something bad about you or something because you did that switch and we had to give up our group chat.
Yeah, we're back though. We
We're
are
back.
back.
Better than ever, folks.
I love that phone, but I just could not take the texting. And Snapchat is not optimized for Android at all.
It
So
really
it looks
isn't.
like it was taken on like a piece of pizza or some shit.
I had an Android for like a month and a half, and I was like, I can't do this.
It's
Snapchat
rough,
sucks.
man. It is rough. So I went to AT&T and bought out my contract. And I was like, all right, give me the newest iPhone.
What iPhone did you get?
XS Max.
What the
Yep.
hell?
And then they're probably about to drop another one in September, and then
And
I
you'll
can get
probably
the
have
I
it.
can get the new one in February. So, but I had the my girlfriend got me the Galaxy Watch, and I love that watch. And there's an app on iPhone where you can use that watch, but for some reason it is not working. So I'm gonna give that one to my dad, and then I'm probably gonna go this weekend and buy an Apple Watch.
Yeah, you sold your Apple Watch a couple months ago, didn't you?
No, I sold my Apple Watch like 3 years ago. Yeah,
I'm kinda
long
late to
time
the
ago.
party.
Long time ago.
Late to the party.
Yeah, I remember me and my brother went and bought our Apple Watches in Las Vegas when I was out there.
I do gotta ask you this. Did you get the AirPods?
I did get the AirPods.
Why'd you get the
I
AirPods?
wish I could, flexible. My girlfriend bought them for me. I didn't pay for them.
Oh, come on.
But,
I would have told her, don't do it. Don't do it.
She bought them, and then, she, unboxed them. She goes, I'm probably going to have to go buy myself some. But no, man, I wore them today, and I was just like, not having the damn cord is amazing, dude. You feel so free. Yeah, we're talking AirPods.
I love them, man.
They're amazing.
Had them for like 2 months now. I think I got them actually for Christmas, and they're the shit.
Yeah,
real deal.
It makes a little sound when you put it in your ear.
Yeah, let you know you're connected.
Yeah, they're great. It's a top tier quality.
Hey, guys. No free ads on the show. How many times I gotta tell you this? Instead, right now we're gonna go ahead and give an ad out to our good friend Trevi Levon.
Trevi
New intro music for the Cavemen Media Podcast called In Harmony.
Yeah, you heard him when we opened up the show. That's In Harmony by Trevi. He's the man. Trevi Leon Music, at Trevi Leon on Instagram and Twitter. He's got new stuff dropping. I think he said March 1st. He's got an
this
album
Friday,
dropping.
2 days from now.
I like it.
He's
got good stuff.
A voice of an
Comes out
angel.
today.
Sure.
Yeah, drop today.
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead and check out
It's
his
out
new
now.
album.
Go ahead and check it out.
Yeah.
But no, he's a great singer, great guy.
Fellow Browns fan.
Oh,
Is he?
Throw that in there.
Oh,
he is.
No.
I did
Fellow
not.
Browns
I did
fan.
not know
No,
that.
don't follow him. Don't do it.
Yeah,
No, but,
definitely want to give some love to Trevi. He's got good stuff.
He really
Check
does.
him out on Spotify. That's at Trevi Leon Music. Good stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna end the show on a song from Trevi. It's called "Pretty Little Gypsy." Check
Enjoy. We appreciate everybody listening today.
Thank you so much for listening to us. We hope you have a most beautiful weekend.
I've seen you walking all alone, talking to yourself, and I've seen you talking on the phone, crying out for help. I've seen the bruises on your arm. You're lying because you're scared, and I know that you don't have a home. Your home is far from here. You've always been there on your own. You've always loved to be alone. So take what you need and move along. And pretty little gypsy, you're on fire. I'm sorry that you missed me. I could have taken you higher. And pretty little gypsy, don't lie to me now, when your heart is always with me, but your mind is free now. Tattoos all over your back, nobody knows what they mean. And love pretty colors, but you dress in all black. You never really wanna be seen. And go to bed in the morning, you wake up in the afternoon. Never love nobody else, cause nobody's as good as you. And pretty little gypsy, you're on fire. I'm sorry that you missed me. I could have taken you higher. And pretty little gypsy, don't lie to me now, when your heart is always with me, but your mind is free now. You leave stains, forget about my needs, babe. In each place there's a new one to betray. In 3 days I fell in love in 3 ways, and these days I'm begging on my knees, babe. Keep backing up until you're gone. You only love me when I'm not home. So take what you need and move along. And pretty little gypsy, you're on fire. I'm sorry that you missed me. I could have taken you higher. And pretty little gypsy, don't lie to me now, when your heart is always with me.